Here we are.
Again.
On our own. Oh, sorry about your ears.
That's okay.
People. Party people. So here we are. It's TheAscertainers, a little bonus episode. We don't know when it'll come out, but it'll come out. It might be short, might be long. Nobody knows. I've turned into Dr Seuss.
With zero rhyming.
Round and round, yeah. Dr. Bruce is a sidekick of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Ruse, more like, right? Can I get some? Anyway. All right. So, yeah, it's a whole new attitude, whole new vibe. It's Mark, the Ascertainer, the Podfather, as I think one of your brother-in-laws had coined the original term. Mark, say hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark.
Thanks for foreshadowing your acceptance of the introduction. I'm Jim. I am the other Mark. I'm the other Ascertainer. And then I guess, they say Pete Best was the fifth Beatle. Actually, no, they say it was Billy Preston was the fifth Beatle. There's a couple of fifth Beatles. Anyway,
There are.
Our third Ascertainer is probably Jason because he was our first guest ever. And Todd, it could be Todd, but Todd doesn't want to come on. So there you go, by default. Not default, by disqualification. Here it is. Our neighbor Jason is on with us again tonight.
Thanks for having me. It's been, what did we figure, a year? So, yeah, it was more for us than for the listeners, the last one, right?
Was it self-serving?
A lot of reminiscing.
Was it like a James Hetfield guitar solo in that way? Self-serving? No? Anybody?
Who? What?
Metallica. Jerry Garcia? Heard of him? All right. Well, we are... What are you doing? Oh, he knows about the nub. And he had the right hand as well. The correct hand. Did you learn about that from Tucker Carlson?
No, I just know. My uncle was a huge Grateful Dead fan, so I've known about Jerry Garcia since I was probably 9.
I read an interview that when that person was a kid, that his dad was some kind of fucking news editor or whatever, and he met Jerry Garcia when he was like 10 years old and shook his hand and freaked him out. Because the other two fingers around it kind of become that finger. Let me show you what we're talking about here.
Yeah, you are creepy.
He could deliver the shocker without even trying, right? What would that be?
The
What would that be? The shocker.
Why do you think things like that?
You know this is such a bad joke, but there's like the shocker, there's the rocker, and then there's one called the minivan, and that's 2 in the front and 5 in the back.
That's bad.
It's the Ascertainers After Hours, and we're going to just jump right into the radio game because we can, and then we're going to talk about music. This is going to be a music episode unless we get into colonoscopies like we did the last one.
Wow.
That's how bad the last one was, everybody. Well, we're going to talk about music, but maybe we talk about musicians that are pro colonoscopy? I don't know. So, radio game is cool. I'm going to juice the pot here. Sorry, phrasing. Radio game pot. So, guests are supposed to win. We're making the radio game a monetary thing because we want to attract good guests. And ended up with Jason. But anyway, the goal was to attract... Sorry. No?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
He laughed.
I'm so excited to win $7.
He laughed the exact amount that you should.
It's almost $30 in
There's
there.
like $27. There's a 20 in there.
All
right. Well,
I'm in.
Okay.
I hope I win.
You want to tell us two of your bands?
All right. Molly Hatchet.
Yes, sir. Florida
and
Disaster.
Foghat.
Nice.
Slow ride. Take it easy.
Ted Nugent, ZZ Top.
Rush, REO.
Back on around. This is like
Speed Round, yeah. Supertramp and Queen.
Sweet and War. Since we listened to Eric Burden and War.
Oh, you should just take an Eric Burden. After 70 plus episodes.
You know,
Mark. I hope it's War so bad. Did you say War?
Yeah.
I hope it's the Animals then. Eddie Money and Judas Priest.
But every episode that I've listened to, you always pick at least one, if not two bands for this that I've never even heard of. And
Really?
War is one of them.
Lowrider?
The Cheech and Chong Lowrider song?
The
Really?
Low
Well, I didn't know that.
Rider.
I didn't know that was them.
Okay,
Yeah.
who sang Baby I'm Amazed? Is that the Beatles or Paul McCartney? Either way,
Paul McCartney.
that's what it was. Nobody won. Loser, loser, loser.
You know, Paul McCartney sang with War one time.
Is that the High Rider? The Low Rider. Hold on, I think you might be thinking of something different. Did Cheech and Chong have... There's a song called The Low Rider, and it's
No,
kind of
but
cool.
in Cheech and Chong, one of their movies, Up in Smoke, they had that song.
They were playing Lowrider.
You know what's weird is I don't know if I've seen Up in Smoke in its entirety. I saw next movie 36 times. It was at the outdoor movie theater in Rochester one summer. So I saw Rocky 3, I saw one of the Porkies, I saw fucking, what did you say, Cheech and Chong's next movie a lot of times. And because most people are making out at the drive-in, I got to see the movie a lot. So.
Which,
Jason, welcome to the show.
which brings
Hey, your
up
microphone's way over there.
something that I thought we could bring up because Porky's, a lot of
Oh, yeah, that's right.
lot of TNA in that. What was the first movie that you saw breasts in? Do you remember?
I do. It would have been, I was in 7th grade, and I rode up.
Thank God. I think you're going to say second.
I rode 30 miles from a resort that we were staying at where I worked. It was kind of a summer-long thing. We stayed at this resort, and I worked there. And I rode up in the back of a pickup about 30 miles to two neighboring towns, whatever, down. And it was Stripes. Remember when in the beginning?
There's a lot of people that was probably their first one. That
Yeah.
when he's looking through the binoculars.
No. It was in the very beginning when Bill Murray came back to his apartment.
Oh,
and
and
his girlfriend was going to leave, and she was walking around naked.
How about that? All right. I think the first one I saw was on a free HBO weekend on TV, and it was the movie, I want to say it was Coming Home, and it was the most fucking awkward ever, because my mom and dad were in the room, and there was a sex scene.
with Jane Fonda.
Yeah, and I'm I'm doing the old, nothing to see, everybody. But, yeah, because back then, the Dayton's Christmas catalog was a real hit. So it didn't take much to get the old blood flowing, if you know what I mean. But for sure, Stripes. Also, do you remember the movie Slapshot?
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't see until it was out on VHS. But there's a scene, there's a 5-minute scene where Paul Newman's on the phone, and there's just a pretty above average boob just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what the fuck Paul Newman said. It might have been Paul McCartney for all I know. But anyway.
It's a great movie. For those who have
and you know
not seen
what the
underrated.
other one is Jamie Lee Curtis in A Fish Called Wanda.
Or Trading Places, or every fucking movie she's been in. What's the one with Schwarzenegger? Total Recall? She had a
That was Sharon Stone.
Total Recall?
Wish there was a way you could look things up and get answers to things quickly.
I don't know about that one. What's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Total Recall.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's not Sharon Stone. You saw her in Basic Instinct. This episode is just completely the opposite of the other one. This
Going off the rails.
It's like a crazy train, maybe.
This is like the other guys when he's going, yeah, he came in and he had poison ivy up his butt.
Where did that come from?
That happens. There's a movie called The Other Guys. If you haven't seen that, I don't think there's any boob in it, but
they're trying to explain a movie and they go, oh, the one with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, and he comes into the hospital with poison ivy.
God damn it.
On his butt. Mark Wahlberg's going, that never happened.
You're right. I'm just looking at you because I just looked up Total Recall and it is Sharon Stone.
I have no
What
idea.
the hell's the one with Jamie Lee Curtis in
I
it?
have no idea.
All right, well, you two can talk. This is good. Have a guest on.
Are you thinking True Lies?
What'd I say?
Total Recall?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
True Lies. Was she in that?
Good job,
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
So close. Why do you pay attention to detail like that? Throw me
My
under the
first
bus.
one, you'll never guess the first one.
National Geographic presents.
Really close. Papillon with Steve McQueen.
Oh my God! No. Okay. Let me. The first one in color that you saw.
Yeah. Huh.
Papillon, it's Steve McQueen. He's in French Guiana in prison. And
Go on.
I've been there.
Keep going.
But-
We can run out the clock with you describing what the fuck Papillon's about.
it's a great movie if you've never seen it.
I mean, how much are we talking about here? Like 10
Well,
seconds
it's-
worth, or are they?
It's pretty graphic,
Ooh, do tell.
but it's like National Geographic.
So that's the graphic. She put the graphic in National Geographic. That's
Yeah.
not good. Maybe that's what that's for.
So
Because there was a set of those in damn near every National Geographic. It's like, ooh, look a lion. Ooh, look a puma. Ooh, look a planet. Oh, there's some saggy titties. Sorry, listeners.
wow.
Well, they were not like known for their like supportive undergarments in the that part of the world, where apparently they just like to send photographers to take pictures of women with their shirts off. The hell? What
And-
happened?
And we are a music podcast. Who started this?
I remember like the beginning of the episode when I said this is totally going to be about music and not about colonoscopies. But while we're on the topic, you brought up movies with boobs in them.
I did.
Okay. So let's see. Let's just go around the table. Caddyshack, you can do one.
Well, I thought we kind of already did. Mine was Stripes.
Okay. No, I'm just saying any movie with in the 70s. Every movie had a boob scene.
Animal House.
Animal House.
Weird Science.
Porky. Weird Science. Okay, I'm not sure which one we're going here. Who's up? You're next.
Fast
No.
Times.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're right.
Anyway.
It's one of the
Do
most
I have
iconic
to
ones, and I'm
reiterate
like,
where that came
I'll be right back. I'm out.
describe it to me.
Life's the Same, moving in stereo, I think is the sad part is that Jennifer Jason Leigh, Buzz Killington over here, I'm just at this age I'm like, oh, I hope she wasn't the age that she was portraying when she was getting savaged in that dugout. Like that she wasn't actually a senior in high school. She was like 20 some years old.
Was she?
Sure.
You have to hope.
18 and a half.
Oh. Wow. I don't think people paid attention to that as much. And they probably should have.
Paid attention to. Yeah, are you saying like the rampant pedophilia when we were growing up? We could do a whole episode on songs that were inappropriate as far as.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
yeah. Oh, maybe should we turn it? Well, we can't. We don't have research, but we'll go around the table with
It's
that.
not like we...
She was just 17.
Madeleine.
Not good. Chuck Berry,
No, well, Madeleine is Winger.
or she's only 17.
Yes.
Another less subtle.
Yeah. No
What
bust
is it?
there.
What is Madeline? How does
Madeline.
that go?
I'd have to dig deep, but she's
Phrasing.
Well, no, and actually, Winger had another song. She's only 17.
Yes.
I feel like I just heard that.
Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me. That's something.
Too young to fall in love. Although I don't think an actual age is.
That's
written
Motley,
there.
right?
Motley Crue.
Thank God for little girls. Going way back. Isn't that terrible?
Is that from Papillon?
Or you can go way back to Kiss, Christine 16.
Ooh.
Oh, no,
I'm
thank
not familiar
heavens.
with that work.
Thank heavens for little girls.
Yeah, but I don't think he's trying to get with them. Really? Is that?
I don't know. It's a very bizarre song to me.
Every Jerry Lee Lewis song.
Hey,
You know what, though? I
A
don't.
couple of Ringo Stars.
he didn't have an 18-year-old cousin, so you had to go with the 13.
Loophole. All right. Anyhow.
I don't know.
Elvis,
Oh, yeah, so else.
he met
She was like 16 or 15, wasn't she?
14.
Oh.
Yeah, but you
Priscilla?
waited. But it is interesting how a lot of things happened, and then when that change happens, it happens quickly. Like the Harvey Weinstein stuff and everything was like, whoa. Music. That's what we talk about. Fresh start.
I'll leave everything that Jim said that was very inappropriate.
I think you'll leave all that in and just make it sound like me doing a monologue about it. I like that. What happened to the good old...
No, but we were talking about music and
Our guest came up with a great subject.
We have introduced our guest, yes.
We have.
We're 20 minutes in. We've done the radio game. We haven't done the Newt's promo. We should talk about that after you talk about what...
Do you want to explain it, Jason? You're very eloquent in the way you brought it up.
I don't know that I'm eloquent, but I was just thinking earlier today when we were discussing, possible topics, and one of them was what albums from your youth really influenced kind of your direction in music and, what you like to listen to. And, and that goes back, maybe back to with some, including me, to elementary school. And then just kind of those decades that move on. Like what albums really stand out in your mind as just totally changing how you think about music and what you like.
I think that's a wonderful topic that we can cover. Well, we went to Newt's tonight, and Jim and I had the new monthly special, which was just the jalapeno poppers on top of a burger. On their new special is just, it's the bomb.
It was the bomb. We'll find out later. But I also will say that we don't know when this one's coming out, so just we encourage you to go to the lower right of the menu, look at whatever the monthly special is, and give it your time of day. Give it a consideration because they're always quite good. But yeah, Newt's it's our signature sponsor. We turned down a lot, and Goodyear, Trojan, ResMed, the CPAP guys. Anyway, we duct tape. Anyway, so we settled on Newt's after a long, drawn-out legal process, which, by the way, almost drained all of our resources. But we settled. We think we struck a pretty good bargain. We get one beer
Each.
So that's pretty good, right? Do you think? You think we took them deep? No, anyway.
They went home going, God, we could have gotten less.
I like to say that we don't want to sacrifice our artistic integrity by getting a full meal for free or any money. But we'll take a beer each. And, so go to Newt's because we do. And tell them the Ascertainers sent you. And otherwise we'll find you and kick you in the shin. I don't think that's our best slogan. Go to Newt's anyway.
We don't have a slogan.
We're not kickers. I wear open-toe shoes a lot, and you can't kick on those. It wouldn't hurt anyway. So, anyhow.
Anywho.
Yeah, these albums. I heard a line. I'll try to kick it off with this. When Yes, have you heard of them?
No.
The band, Yes.
Oh, do you see what I was trying to do there? Kind of humor. Have you heard of Yes? No. Get it?
How do you do it? Every time.
I know. It's
just flawless. Flawless need to explain what the hell was funny. Anyway, they were actually introduced by a couple of guys that I follow from another band that did progressive rock with a high-pitched voice singer who you made a comparison to earlier tonight, Rush. Anyway, Yes was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee from the band Rush. And the line that Alex Lifeson said, I thought would set up our topic well. He goes, there is nothing so fleeting yet enduring about the way music feels when you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
Huh?
A tear running my
Just like
cheek.
the guy with the garbage pond. Anyway.
Jim sent me a link to a video of Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look at it the same way he did because I
sent it because I thought the bass line was
phenomenal.
something unlike anything I've ever heard.
Yes.
Pretty incredible what they did.
But I thought they reminded me a lot of Rush. And I thought, any fan of Rush is probably a fan of Yes. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
I would say there's probably 80% are and are fans. There's probably 10% who are like, have some real weird, deep-seated obsession with Rush that they'll find something wrong with Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But I will say that when you said that to me, I said, yeah, they both have a singer who's annoying. They both play way more notes than they really need to. And, I get it. I get what makes people hate Rush and then Yes. I don't love Yes, but I've never heard of, I shouldn't say it like that. Or Yes was a little more into the keyboards than I favor. Like it was a prominent part, where Rush, it was just kind of like an annoyance. But, yeah.
When CD players came out, the first disc I bought was a Yes disc.
Really?
Even though, like you, I wasn't a huge Yes fan, but I knew musically that would be the coolest music to listen to digitally. So Roundabout, I was just floored when I heard it digitally.
You know what my first CD was? Steely Dan. Same reason. Yeah, because I thought it would, because I liked their high ends, like the treble part of that band, and I was not disappointed. Mm-hmm. Although now everything's coming back to vinyl for people that like to listen. But.
Right.
Bands that do complicated music well is great. Other bands try to do the complicated stuff, playing extra. It comes across as, what, don't even.
Yeah.
Like Yes and Steely Dan and Rush are very good at doing complicated instrumentals and putting it all together.
Just the time signatures are just very interesting.
And then there's like bands which almost every Rush fan that I know is a huge Dream Theater fan. I never saw the point. It's like I already got one of those bands. Very hard for the sake of being hard. There's a band that you and I both know called Protest the Hero. Some would say, again, they're kind of trying to outdo them, kind of cram more into that bag than really fits. Then it brings you back to jazz, where it's like a baggy sock. With just the right amount of notes to keep you alive, but not to really thrive.
Yeah. Well, I remember back in elementary school, I think I told you guys, the first concert I ever went to was the Bay City Rollers, which is moderately, but...
Where?
SATURDAY.
Yes.
Where did you see that band?
Orchestra Hall. And as a matter of fact...
Orchestra Hall in St. Paul, or...?
I don't know. It's Minneapolis, St. Paul. I don't know where Orchestra Hall is.
I don't either.
I don't even think it's around
is
anymore.
Is it not? Okay. I didn't grow up.
But anyway, the orchestra pit, the railing in front of the orchestra pit, there were so many kids screaming and leaning against that railing, it gave way and they all fell into the damn pit. So it was a huge fiasco. But anyway, so I went through that. That was elementary school. And then the first time I really got into rock music was in junior high. And it was, I think, 7th grade, and it was Kiss, double platinum album. And I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool, So I went through that. I mean, my bedroom was all decorated in Kiss and through those years. But
so for you, it was double platinum. Because you're 10, no, you're not even that much younger.
No.
For me, it was Kiss Alive.
That was the one before, I think.
And
it was Kiss Alive 2, and then Kiss, then double platinum.
Right. But I popped up on one of my social media feeds, and right away, it just transported me to over at my buddy Dave M's house. We had both had older brothers that listened to good music. But the point is that, I guess the point of the whole story is that I texted Mark, I go, hey, what if we did album covers? And then Mark reminded me that he was
I never bought albums when I was. I was a poor kid.
Who's that kid on Christmas Carol? You were that guy. What was the kid's name?
I don't know. Tom.
Fucking Tom Sawyer. Yeah, Tom Sawyer.
Orchestra Hall's still there. I just want to put that out there because.
Oh, you Googled?
Yeah. It's a great venue because of the way they set it up for orchestra. So if you saw any kind of rock band there, the sound would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Well,
kind of like Lakeville Center for the Arts.
when you
just like that.
when you bring that up about double platinum and yours being Kiss Alive, I knew of Kiss back in the Kiss Alive days because I had a buddy in 3rd grade that was drawing their album covers.
Yes.
He was an artist. He'd draw their album covers.
For sure could get the logo.
And I remember the
logo
circle one, you know, with it was, I can't remember which album, Kiss, I can't remember which album it was. But anyway, so I knew of them then, but I didn't know their music. I just thought, well, that looks cool, so I thought that was cool. So the first album I ever bought was double platinum.
That was your first purchased album. I don't even know what mine is. I hate to say it.
Ram was mine. I brought that
Paul
up.
McCartney, and you, I think you showed it to
Well,
me.
I still have it.
Same copy?
Yeah.
See, I had an older brother, so I didn't have to buy that much music. Again, it was like a secondhand smoker, if you will. And I think I bought more comedy albums than music albums.
I never got into that. That's something that interests you, like
actually, I'll tell
the
you right
drums
now,
with.
I think the first
Jason.
record I ever heard was it was a Bill Cosby.
I think you brought that up, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we had like this thing in my living room growing up. The thing I'm pointing to behind me there, J-Dog.
Yep.
My mom had like these really old shit. She even had 78s, you know, to throw on there. Dad too, I guess. But Mom was the one that was like, oh, here's one we liked, and she'd like, you know, do her little Charleston dance. My mom was like a college level award-winning Charleston dancer, and don't bring it up around her. You'll see it. And she's only got a couple more of those kicks left in them knees. Otherwise she's
Don't drop that on the tile.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, but they were heavy.
They were heavy and they were like glass.
And apparently flammable too. So.
They just shatter.
No, but I remember there was Waterloo, she lives by the river. I'm like, listen, this kind of stuff. It's a miracle I'm not a fashion designer because of all the music my mom had me listen to. I don't know what I mean by that either.
That there's anything wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying that
I would bring up
listen to the coolest shit ever.
I didn't have albums, but
What?
album.
Yeah, I just noticed it there.
Well, so how did you get your music?
Well, my sister had. I brought this up earlier on a podcast. Grand Funk, double live.
It's about all you need for a while.
And then I thought, oh, this is not like the Pop 40 stuff. I really like this stuff. But then I also liked the Elvis. When he had his Hawaii special on TV, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
He's an entertainer.
He is. And it's good music, though.
What was the name of Elvis's band? Anybody? Bueller?
No clue.
Taking Care of Business Band.
Oh, it is. You're right.
TCB.
And the bass player played with the Doors on their last album.
I'll tell you what, that band could probably play for anyone they wanted, right? And
Yes.
they played for Elvis. He didn't just like take the first guy that walked up. I mean,
No, they were like the Wrecking Crew. They were all very accomplished people.
Yeah.
some of the his Vegas shows, there's like Elvis radio on satellite.
So what's your second one?
Well,
Moving up.
so the teeny bopper stuff, which is what I considered Kiss at the time, that went to probably the biggest influence on me was 1979. Van Halen 2.
Yeah.
Not Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2.
You like 2? Little Women in Love, little
And
Dance the Night Away.
I would listen to that thing over and over and over again. And that got me into Van Halen 1. But
so you heard
that album was a game changer for me.
Is it because that's just the order in which you were introduced to them, or did you hear VH1 and it didn't do much for you?
No, I didn't know anything about I didn't know about Van Halen when VH1 came out.
No. VH1 meaning Van Halen's first album.
I know.
Oh, I thought you meant like the TV.
No. I didn't.
Mark didn't have cable, so he didn't know what the fuck we're talking about. So.
When Van Halen 1 came out, I didn't even know anything about him, but I don't know. I must have heard one of their songs somewhere, and I'm like, wow. And I bought that album. It's like every song on that album is like a banger. You know?
Yeah.
It's good.
Those first 2 albums are ridiculous. And then, if I recall correctly, there was a couple of just clunkers that followed
Yes.
it. And then
Diver Down, Fair
maybe
Warning.
3 that clunked. And then 1984, And then
that's when it picked up.
And that's when David Lee Roth got so full of himself that he ruined Van Halen. And so Jason, may I ask you a question? May I inquire, do you prefer David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar in the whole catalog?
Well, because that was, one of my first exposures to real rock. I mean, I would say I'm very partial to Dave. But with that said, musically, I like the Sammy Hagar version of Van Halen equally as well. Sammy Hagar's a way better vocalist, right? Plus he plays guitar. It was just a different, but Dave was the showman of all showmen, I mean, I saw those guys 3 times live, and it's not because of the band, it's because of Dave.
Oh my God, this is so great. I never saw Van Halen live. I thought Van Halen, like I looked at the album artwork because that's all you could do, right? Because you didn't have fucking the internet, or you weren't friends with David Lee Roth or anything. So it was like, these guys look so fucking cool. And then the first time I saw David Lee Roth moving, I thought it was like a guy in a puppet suit, working him. I thought he just lacked all rhythm, but everyone says that live he pulled it off. But I thought his voice, especially later in his career, he would just try to do so much. He was just so like narcissistic, maybe, that he had to outdo Eddie Van Halen. But I just thought he just looked weird. But around 1984, when they did the good video work and they could do a reverse thing of him doing a flip and shit like that, he looked like a goddamn legend. But now he's kind of a train wreck. David Lee, again, you can come on the Ascertainers anytime you want. We just need 1 hour's notice. Meet us at Newt's and come on by. We'll blindfold you and put you in the trunk on the way to my house so you don't know where I live. And then we'll release you into the wild after. The sedative will wear off in 3 or 4 days. Don't worry.
All right. Well, who's next? Jimmy?
I was going to say VH1. Eruption was the first song I ever heard off of that. And I was like,
the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's probably like people that heard Hendrix for the first time were like,
oh my God.
Exactly.
That's one person doing that.
Yeah. And it was like, and then they go into a song and you're going like, can they do that?
Yeah, that was kind of illegal how they set you up and then they put into our You Really Got Me. It's just like, oh.
That's
that whole
legal.
record front to back. I don't know that there's a better. I'm sure there's a Led Zeppelin record that's just as good, but it's for the time, right? When you're 7, I was, 77 that came out, maybe 78.
Yep.
14 years old, very impressionable.
If I was that age when Led Zeppelin first hit, I would be saying the same thing.
Right, I was a little too young but then Motley Crue. I remember when I heard. Whatever, Shout at the Devil, is that the name of the record?
Yeah. Well, and Looks That Kill was the first one I ever saw because they had the videos out then.
So I don't know what the album name was, though, but when I heard Shout at the Devil at my brother Steve's place in Richfield.
That's the name of the album.
He had the old nipple-high speakers and, basement floor apartment. It's like, I'm sure his neighbors loved it when I came over. And I would play that song. And I think there was Livewire on that too, or no?
No, that was on
a separate one. There was one other song.
That was the first album they ever cut, and it's before they were even famous.
Oh, that's even before that.
Too Fast for Love.
So I would listen to Shout at the Devil and Looks to Kill, and there was I don't know if you were on the same side. There was like one other song, but I just wore that record out.
Yeah, that was a game changer for me too, for sure. I mean, that was on my list.
Did it come out as a single?
No, I don't remember how they did all that. I think Shout at the Devil, if it came out as a single, was probably the one, and then Looks That Kill came right after that.
What year was that? That was mid-'80s, correct?
Early, it was 83 or 84, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 84 or 5, because it was when I first started dating Chris. She lives upstairs.
I'm going to sound like a pansy, but a Supertramp. Breakfast in America.
What is a pansy even?
I don't know.
It's a flower.
Is it really?
So,
well, then maybe I want to be that.
That's a word for it. It's a flower that you.
What? You go from Motley Crue and Van Halen,
Well,
and now you can
No,
bring
it
up
doesn't.
Supertramp.
This is the tree of trust. This is the safe space for you, Mark. Even if you want to say something fucking just completely nuts like Supertramp, you're free to say it here, weirdo.
I think you're right about Motley. That was 84, 85. Because I thought of my next one, which I think you two would probably agree. 1983, Pyromania. Def Leppard came out with that album. It was like...
No, that's not Bring It on the Heart Rate. That already came out.
No.
This would be Photograph and
that
Under Glieden Glauden Glue, and that's actually woo-wee.
That
there are people doing a little podcast that are younger than us going, that's their VH1. Right?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that it's funny. I've never even told anyone this. When Pyromania came out, I was in 10th grade, 11th grade, and I had no money, and I wanted that frickin' cassette so badly. A buddy and I went to Target, and it's the only thing I've ever stolen from a store in my life was that tape. And that's when they came in those big plastic frickin'...
Did you put it up your wiener hole? Sounds like you had some trouble with that
no
later
idea. I have no idea where I put it, but that's the one thing I stole, and I still feel guilty about it.
I knew some people that I grew up with. I'm not going to say that any were family members, but it was the guys down the street mainly. They would walk into the old IGA, which is like kind of the neighborhood's corner. It's like a corner store you could buy like bologna in, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a store, but it wasn't like a fucking Quick Trip either. Oh, although Quick Trip. I think you get a goddamn manicure in a Quick Trip anymore. So, but they would go in and they would just steal the most random shit. They would steal because it fit in their pocket and they could get away with it. It's not that whether they wanted it or not. Hey, you got a bag of coconut. Nice job. What the fuck are we doing with this now?
So as a caddy out at Midland Hills, they had a tournament there. At the end of the tournament, the guy, I thought he was selling T-shirts. So I got a Munsingwear, it was a station wagon. So I grabbed one out and I booked home as quick as I could. Next weekend, I'm out there caddying. And I said, because this was keeping me up at night. I said, Was
it a shirt?
Yeah, it was a Munsingwear golf shirt.
Was it like a logo shirt or anything, or just a shirt?
University of Minnesota.
Okay.
They were hosting the tournament out there. Kid looked at me and goes, they were handing those out for free.
That's why I asked.
How long were you in agony, Mark, before you found that out?
Like a week. And I was like, holy shit, the first thing I steal?
Mark shaved his head. He took his own side and front view shot, to save money.
I'm like up at night. Is that a siren? Are they coming at me?
I want to know your next.
Oh, so I would say that as far as an album goes, like the first, it's either going to be Black Sabbath Paranoid, my brother had, and I think he had that record player in his room. Bastard. Or he had something to play it on in his room, because I'd feel like that's where I would hear it blasting. But from an album perspective, it's got to be Rush 2112. Sorry. That's in my grandma's basement. We spent like a week there this summer, and there was one summer where we had that, and Kansas Leftoverture, I think, came out at a similar time. So we pretty much played the living shit out of those records.
So 2112 was pre-Neil Peart, right?
Oh, no. 2112. So thanks for asking. So the first album was just called Rush, and that was with the original drummer, John Rutsey. But then, like 3 albums later came 2112. They put out Fly By Night was the first Neil Peart, I assume.
I know he said that.
I call it Peart. Well, no, it's Peart. It's like Peart. Oh my God, this is so much. Okay, here's what the little video at the end of this one's going to be is a movie called I Love You, Man,
yes.
where they sneak into Rush's backstage, and it's brilliant. Anyway, he asked Neil Peart, he goes, are you sure it's not Peart? He goes, Geddy Lee goes, yeah, I think he'd know. So Rush put out the original, then Fly By Night, and then that was met with, like the first Rush was like, no one gave a shit. But there was a little bit, the DJ in Cleveland picked up Working Man, so they got a little bit of buzz. Then they put out Fly By Night, which was a totally different like sound and everything. And then came Caress of Steel, which it's kind of like an Ugly Baby. You love it, but you gotta try to love it. I don't know about where the Ugly Baby came in. God knows mine were cute, but and then their label almost dropped them. They said this is not what the people want, and then they said, "Well, we'll just give you what we want to do," and then they said, "Fuck you," and said, "We're gonna just put out 2112. See what you think of that." And it was gonna make them or break them, and it made them. And I know every inch of that record, and it's good. It's the first side of it's like a one side kind of a concept. So that's kind of weird, like different for the time anyway. And it's inspired by Ayn Rand's, I think, The Fountainhead. But it's if you listen to the lyrics of the Temples of Syrinx, it's like, that's kind of what's happening now. So, and I won't bore you with those, but so look that up. Maybe I'll plug that in the notes too.
Please don't.
I'll just... You know what I'll do is I'll put a little video clip in there, but it'll be a video of me going, "F off, Mark."
Mark, are you not a Rush
Mark
fan?
is an anti.
No,
Rush.
I like Rush.
Oh,
I'm just not a big
Tell
fan.
us about it. What was your? So you had Ram or Grand Funk? Did you talk about your first?
It was Grand Funk, and then I brought up Supertramp. Pretty much what
Supertramp. I remember.
my biggest influence was in college. Are we that far in progression yet?
Yeah, whatever.
Was
I'm not ready for that yet.
Grateful Dead, and I've just been a deadhead since.
So in high school, what
And
would
that
be?
that's interesting to me because I didn't even know that when we were like jamming back in the Torsion days.
Yeah,
I didn't know you liked the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
I never. My uncle was a huge Deadhead, but
Yeah.
I had no experience or exposure to them.
I got bootlegs in my basement, cassettes. I think I got like 30 of them. Just
Funny.
And that's how this podcast started. I was transferring them all through Audacity to make them digital. And I said, I know how to use Audacity. Let's do a podcast. How hard can it be?
That's why. That's
Why Jim's basement's
This
occupied.
is like a byproduct of a dead bootleg session.
Don't say it like that.
Dead. Did I say it with enough disdain? I think you played it right by not telling the other band members that you like the Grateful Dead. That way you can stay in the band. So nice work. Way to go. You nailed it. You stuck the landing.
We didn't want to spend 58 minutes on one song. That's
Two
Ow.
snaps in a circle
Ow.
for JT over there.
Oh,
So in your car, Jason, when you were in high school, what would be, did you have a tape deck or did you have an 8-track or did you just listen to radio?
We had a tape deck, and of course, I was in high school in the mid '80s, and so the car stereo was a huge deal back then. So like, we were hitting all of it. I mean,
Did you continually upgrade the stereo in the car you were driving at a place like maybe Hi-Fi Kenny's, or did you just accept the stock radio? And
no, I actually I used to install my own radios. Every
There it
car
is.
I had a lot of cars when I was a kid, and I'd put my own stereos in, own
What was
speakers.
did you have a brand? Were you a Pioneer man, or were you?
No, well, I had a hookup. My dad worked for an insurance company, and so
Oh no!
he got everything at well, I wouldn't say cost, but a pretty good deal at Audio King.
Oh,
And so
brand name.
yeah, I got connected with the Audio King guys, and so they always just installed everything. Every car that I ever had, they installed it.
Oh, they
Oh,
did the install. Oh. So I thought you were going to say your dad was an insurance guy or whatever. So every time a car got totaled, you could take out their
well, that'd be
kick-ass
nice.
stereo.
Well, most of the cars I had were total losses that we repaired.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Smart. It's all you know.
I don't know if this is still around. Pops the face off of the radio. So
Oh, that's so people don't steal them.
Yeah. Is that still a thing?
That
I
was
think that
was an 80s, 90s thing.
Yeah, I think that's at least 10 years old. But
you pop the face
It's actually
off of
kind
a
of a
radio.
cool concept until you lose the face for your fucking radio. It's like, well,
Or you fuck up the tabs that connect it. Yeah.
It's like, what do you want to hear? It's like, how about some Boston? Hey, can you hum a few bars? I don't think I know that one. Try another one.
My face plates at my mom's house.
Can you give me something more in my register? Can you do? I can do Collective Soul Shine and Scarecrow. That's all I got. Which is from the other episode. Anyway, I digress.
Anywho.
Funny. I remember Tesla was a big thing for me. Guns N' Roses when Appetite came out.
So you got the
big
you got the
game chambers.
good parts of the '80s. Like some people say, when the '80s came, it was like the death of music. But you just mentioned a couple of good bands.
I think Tesla is a phenomenal band.
It could be up there in the top 4 of underrated bands.
I would agree.
Because everyone loves when they hear Tesla, but they never think of Tesla when they think of who's your favorite. April Wine, Tesla. Those are the 2 that are going on Mount Rushmore of underrated bands. Come on again, and we can fill in the rest.
Yeah.
I had a 74, I think it was, Ford Pinto. One of my genius brothers put a tape deck in it, and then Judas Priest Unleashed in the East got stuck in the tape deck. So all I could listen to. I remember I think it was called The Ripper. It's just such a funny song. How we can do with his voice. I'm not going to do it, but it's that'll be on the footnotes. I'm now attaching video for when people read the write-up, they can click on it.
We need to wrap this one up.
All right. Jason, thank you for
Thank
being
you very much.
Great neighbor and a great guest on TheAscertainers. And we look forward to our next. We won't make it 50 weeks until we have you on again.
Oh,
It'll be like 60.
It's been great. Yeah. We know we should do it more. Even outside the podcast. I mean, we don't need a podcast to hang.
Yeah, we do.
Mark,
Yeah, you're right.
anymore, Mark, he brings the earphones with him. He's weird that way, but he plugs them into his lighter in his car. Hey, everybody. Just going to drive up to the store and get some lettuce because I don't eat meat.
Well, email us at theascertainers@gmail.com or text us on any platform that you listen to us on. And then we also have a Facebook page. Like us anytime you want.
And share us.
Yes, exactly.
All right, I'm taking my headphones off. Thanks for listening, you guys.